And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing 7 Days to Die. And I've got quite a lot of that concrete. I just laid out that concrete before night fell. So that should be drying pretty quickly here. Be probably dry by morning. Who knows? But I would like to get a farm going. I picked the potatoes that were way over there. And no longer going to be using that area for farms because it's, just way over there, and I've got this nice little platform up here ready to go. So I've got 60 potato seeds. I have 60 grassy ground. I am going to need 60 fertilizer and our iron hoe. So firstly, we're going to have 60 awesome. Let's see. How do I we're gonna have 60 plants here. I would like to set this up right in here. So if I go, I want to do rows of 20. So there's 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So if I go one out from this here, I should be able to do 20. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Oh. $20, just like that. So I want 2 more rows of this. And they changed the farming in Alpha 15. Used to be where you'd only be able to plant in every other row because of how the tilled dirt deformed when you tilled it. Now you can actually plant in every single row, which is really nice. So I'm going to get my hoe ready to go. So you can see this will start turning to grass just like our forest ground. And it will start growing grass. So we want to till this before that, just so we eliminate the need for all the weed cutting. So we just go along each side here. Oh, that put fertilizer in there because I hit it twice. Or we will do that. We will put fertilizer in. I just want to make sure this is all tilled before the grass starts growing. And then the last row here. Oh, okay. Now I can do fertilizer. And once it's fertilized, it won't fertilize it again, so you don't waste any fertilizer. So there's that row. Now I need to go and do the middle part here. Not sure. Sometimes it misses. Really, really hard to tell which block you're on when you're doing this. That's the only sort of gripe that I have with the farming, is sometimes you do this row after row after row and you wind up with the wrong number of leftovers and you don't know where the odd one is. So hopefully when I get this done... Oh, all right. No fertilizer left, which means I fertilized every single spot, which is awesome. So now we just plant, and this will really help tell us where the block spaces are. So now that those are there, I can just go off of where those are. And it's a little bit more straightforward that way. So now we just do the final row. I eventually want 2 plots of 100 plants a piece. So that's why I've been collecting all the rotten flesh and the turds that I can. There we go. We now have 60 potato plants, all in fertilizer. So the fertilizer, normally if you don't fertilize, you get 2 potatoes for every plant. With fertilized, it doubles that. So you get 4 for every plant. So, you know, you get 4, but then you have to use 1 for a seed. So you get a net gain. If you replant, you get a net gain of 3, 3 potatoes per plant. So since we did 60, we get, 60 times 3 would be 180 potatoes off of this one harvest. Now I have set this up so I can do another row here, another row here, and that will give me an even 100 plants. And I can do the same thing to this side and get another 100. So I'd be able to plant 200 of something in fertilized dirt and be able to just wait a couple days and do a huge harvest. And that's how I grow all my food and eventually all of the stuff that we're going to use for upgrading our base, because I have just 2 aloe seeds right now. And one of the things I added in the recipes is a recipe to make this oil, for one. So the recipe is 10 oil shale plus a empty bottle or empty jar gives you an oil. Then you take that oil and you add the aloe cream and you get the polished compound, the reinforced steel upgrade. So 1 oil, 1 aloe cream. And then each aloe cream takes 4 of the aloe plants. So that's why I like to have so many plants, because even with 100 plants that I've got, that still only it's under 100 aloe for every harvest. And we're going to be using a lot of that compound, even though I've changed it so it only uses 1 for every upgrade instead of 10, which I think is ridiculous considering how rare and expensive those things are. Plus it looks just cool, and as a building material I'd like to be able to use more of it. Let's see, I looked like I was hungry. Ooh, I am really hungry. So let's eat. I might have to eat, I'm gonna have to eat some bacon and eggs to make up the difference. And then drink some water. There we go. Now I've got a little bit of food. So let's go peek at my mine. I want to show you how I've been progressing in my mine. Some people have asked to see the mining process. It was all going pretty smoothly, very methodical in my mine, and then I really had to find some iron, so I started hunting around for some iron, and that kind of upset the balance. But as you can see, I've got these stacks of iron in here, and then each one of these is ready to go with 5,000 raw and 2,500 clay. Because if you look at your forged steel, it's exactly half. So regardless of how much iron or what this smelts in, I know the ratio is right. And if I did my math right, I have 6 furnaces, this one too, all ready to go with the iron and the clay. And that should net me 7,500 steel. which should be plenty to upgrade all of our spikes that we're gonna put out there, because I've got the wood log spikes crafted here, ready to go. So here's my mine. As you can see, you know, this is where I started it, and I've been digging down ever since. And I added another layer of torches just because it was getting dark down here, and I might have to do that again here as I go even deeper. But you can see in my hunt for iron, I really wanted to find it, so I kind of went through here and dug around and found some more little bits of iron, trying to pay attention to where my pillars were, because if you dig out from underneath one of these pillars, the whole thing could come down. And I mined out some of the resources that were in the pillars, and I replaced it with the destroyed stone, which looks like the wasteland biome ground. It's got little bricks in it, but the destroyed stone is not very stable. You can't build off of it. It doesn't support a lot of load, except for vertically. Vertically, there's a near infinite amount of weight that things can hold vertically. So it's a good use of something that doesn't really hold a whole lot of weight, except for support beams like this. But yeah, I've got a great sort of, I'm always wanted to go for like a, Lord of the Rings, the Mines of Moria, where they go in and there's just these pillars that go up into the ceiling, and you just go, oh man, look at the size of this room. So that's kind of what I'm going for. It's kind of the heart of the matter here. But as I go, I can see I've got little bits of iron in here. And so it's just a sort of a methodical, I was doing it layer by layer, just going through the whole room and doing one layer. And, again, then I really needed some iron. So yeah, I've got some iron in this pillar here. And if it starts adding up, if there's more in there, then I will make some destroyed stone and kind of cut that off. It looks like it goes all the way around. So if I'm really hurting for iron, then I'll do that. But usually I'll just keep digging. The quick axe makes this sort of a painless process. It's not too bad. Not too grindy, at least. It's something to do at night, Night falls, and there's not much you can do outside. So I come in here and kind of work my quick axe. I've been slowly upgrading, as I come on here and mine, I will, use a lot of the durability on my axe. So I'll repair it and then craft a new one. And then I'll merge the two together, and I'll slowly increase the quality. So you can see I have a 498. But if I look at my toolsmithing, I could only craft a 422. So that 498 is gotten from merging multiple axes together. And granted, it's kind of a waste. I would get quite a lot of resources if I didn't do that. But it does, the durability is pretty good on the quick axe. So I wanted to get as much durability as possible. And I'm not hurting for stone, which is why I'm not mining in bulk sort of my wall here, because I'm not finding any sort of resources underneath, and I want to really focus on iron, or I was focused on iron. Now I'm using so much concrete, I might have to start focusing on stone again. Oh, I can tell there's some lead in there. There's some iron. Lead I'm not really in desperate need of right now. I don't know why I have that pillar right there, but if I want to go into this wall, this is going east, which is kind of away from where I want to go. If I really want to expand the mine, I can go west and dig underneath here, because there are some major resources up there. But I would need like a scaffolding system to even get up there at this point. But yeah, I could dig into this wall and see if there's anything in there. Maybe I should do that. So you just sort of... What I do is I just dig like pilot holes like this. And see, it's kind of a small sample size, but see if you run into any resources. And how far in are we? Oh, we're not that bad. So I'm not finding any here. So let's turn around and go further down the line and go in right here, because this is more or less under the kind of the peak. So if we go in here, what's nice about doing this in a hill is the ore distribution is based on depth. So when you go to a hill like this, the depth changes, and so does the ore distribution. So it makes it a little bit easier to find. I'm kind of wiggling in here. It doesn't like me in this tight space. I'm not finding anything. Maybe I'm in the zone where there's just nothing spawning here. Oh, I'm not quite underneath. Wow, nothing. That is really strange. Usually I come across something. Maybe you'd have to go higher. That is very possible. You just never know where you're going to find it. I mean, there's when it comes to iron and stuff, it's kind of just distributed in an unpredictable way. Oh, lead, more iron. So yeah, this mine is, unless I really clear cut this, I kind of tapped all the veins out of here. I'm not seeing any sort of coloration that indicates that there's more resources in here. Ooh, except over here, but that's a... doesn't really need to be a pillar. I really need one in here somewhere, though. So you can see I can find little tendrils. Little tendrils of ore. And that's what I follow. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's there. It's because of how the system generates its textures. See, yeah, that's kind of iffy whether I should mine that. Because it's right in that space. Ooh, look at that. I wouldn't even seen there's ore in here. So there is more down here. And let's carve our way out here. A little bit of coal. And this is why I prefer to sort of clear cut it like this, because you just don't know where the ore is going to pop out from. So when you kind of hunt around for that, you can miss a huge little deposit of ore just because you don't see everything. So yeah, this iron band goes all the way around. At least I think it does. There's one little block there that doesn't have it. So if I do a recipe, I can make like a few destroyed stone, and then cut a little bit out, replace it, cut a little bit out, and replace it. And that way, it's still supported, but I've got the resources out of it. So that is my mine. It's coming along nicely. I've mined a ton of material out of this thing. I mean, obviously this was solid. So solid in here. So I have mined just, unbelievable amounts of material from this little pit. It's working quite nicely. Hopefully when I dig out that hill, I don't collapse anything inside that mine. So yeah, I got quite a bit of resources out of there. 4,600 iron out of that little bit. A little bit of silver. And some, like I said, I've got plenty of lead. But that'll have to do it for this episode. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.